But look, hey, we're going to keep you in here because we are going to revisit the coaching carousel. Look, we've talked about coaches throughout this season. We know about what happened to Scott Frost earlier in the year, Jeff Collins out of Georgia Tech, Ben Christ out of Wisconsin. You've seen what happened to Herm. I don't even like to bring it up because I'm still fuming over how they did that, man.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Come on. He plays to win the game. That's the point. But there's a lot of these coaches that have been in line to get paid and got paid big money. And let's start with one of the ones that we just talked about. Look, you talked about something earlier in this year, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like, kind of chastise you like, nah, man, this dude, he ain't going nowhere. But if he gets another loss today, it's not getting any easier. Is Jimbo, they maybe don't give him the pink slip, but are they kind of saying, hey, we need to figure something out? What do you think?
I mean, he may get a talking to, but I think that's where the line is drawn. Because I don't think they're gonna do anything with him. I don't think they're gonna do anything with Jimbo as of right now. But I mean, it kind of makes me wonder how many times he's been talked to before.
Yeah.
Going on. But I mean, depending on how many times that's been, I mean, I really don't know. I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, I honestly don't. I mean, it depends on his contract too, how much money they got to give him and that kind of stuff. I mean, you got to put all those factors in there as well. So, me personally, I don't see him going anywhere as of right now.
Yeah. Hey, perfect timing. What's going on, Anthony, the other co-host of This Week in Georgia Football? Anthony, we're talking right now on the coaches carousel, trying to revisit that. We were asking a question that we asked earlier in the year about Jimbo Fisher, and is he, should they be giving him the pink slip? I know you and I, Anthony, definitely said no, he's staying. That's what Colin seems to be saying now. But I just don't know. Alex, I'm going to come to you on this. Listen, Jimbo's 3-4 this year, which is something nobody expected. I heard, CFP conversations with the talent that he potentially had. We've seen what their offense is doing. They've lost to Mississippi State, not bad. They've lost to App State, who we know is not bad, but in the country, I don't know, and then they've lost to unranked South Carolina. I mean, what else is it going to take for them to kind of be like, hey, what's going on here? Like, or is he just locked in and we're not even going to think about that?
I think at least this series locked in, just like Colin said, with the potential buyout and all that. And he's been bringing in number one recruiting classes. Like, he's on all these stuff off the field. He's been doing very, very well. Yeah. Boosters seem to be happy with him. Obviously not this season, but what he's been doing for the school has been good thus far. And let's not forget, they're a field goal hitting the top of the upright away from being 2-5.
Yeah.
They barely escaped Arkansas. So it's a down year. I think it's just one of those years where you don't have your quarterback, so you're not going to do anything. I think once they find their quarterback, they'll be a very, very good football team, and they'll be in that CFP conversation. But this isn't the year for them.
This ain't it. And I wonder, Colin, I'm gonna come to you. I wonder how much we kind of lifted Texas A&M up because of the win a year ago against Alabama.
Yeah. And I kind of thought that would maybe happen this year because I really thought, but I did. I mean, just the A&M team we see is not the one of last year, so it just does surprise me.
Yeah, and look, like you said, he has the same record as Sumlin. We know Fisher has a national championship under his belt. So you have some those accolades. You're going to start, garnering the attention. And we've seen what he's done with the recruits. We've seen what he's done with that defense. But at the same time, we are living in a very much "what have you done for me lately" society. So it's going to be interesting. But like Anthony said, that bag.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, and also I think they like him talking. I mean, everybody likes to talk. Coach likes to talk, and then Jimbo's definitely one to talk. Like him and Lane, and it's kind of reminiscent of the old ball coach. They had Spurrier, at South Carolina for a while, and they every team and every fan seems like the coach that talks a lot of nonsense. It seems so.
Yeah.
But But I mean, it gets the team, riled up and that kind of stuff, fan base, whatever. But I mean, that's another reason I think they're going to keep a hold of him too, because I mean, he's not. You don't see him backing down from Saban. You've seen the things he's talked about, directly to Saban. That he's not scared of any other coaches. So I mean, I think people tend to like that stuff too. So, but he's got to win. I mean, that's what it is. He's got to pull something, turn something around.
Oh yeah, and that especially when. Go ahead.
Like you said earlier, Sean, he's got that national championship under his belt. He has that win against Saban last year. So some of these things that he's got under his belt are going to give him a bit more leeway with these bad seasons. I think a few years down the road, if they're still struggling, then he's probably out the door. But yeah, he's safe.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that national championship does wonders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he said he's run the same offense he had with Winston. He has an upgrade everybody else has. I think honestly, I think a lot of this has to play with that quarterback. A lot of this, they just do not have the guy. Jameis, I already know what we all know what he does in the league, EWs and all that jive. We already know what he does in the league, but he's won a national championship. Yeah. Okay. Secondly, like if you have your guy, if you have your quarterback, if you're able to get that running game going and everything like that, that changes a lot of things. So we'll see once the talent starts coming in and once you find your guy at QB, we'll definitely see how that's going. I'm gonna keep you in here for a little bit. I'm gonna keep you in here because we got to go ahead and move on. And I'm gonna bring my coach up. And the reason is because Katie wants to come here and talk trash. You know what happens when you talk trash, Katie? Don't let us win because Kat and I will drive to your house and be like, knock, knock, knock. Happy Spartans here.
I'm glad I am so far west that you won't even come to me.
I will find you. But look, this is another guy. That has been given so much money. He's highly touted. I mean, you win your first 2 years over the hated rival Michigan. Obviously, that gives you a lot of attention. But at the same time, the team has been struggling, and these last couple years, it has come down to their pass defense. Their quarterback, Peyton Thorne, ain't great. Let's get it right there. But their pass defense last year and this year has struggled. They give up 314 to Maryland, 397 to Washington. Ohio State put 377 on them, and then Wisconsin, who we know is known for running, we know they lost their coach. They put up 283 on us. Sorry, give me a second here. I'm good. So they put that on us. So I mean, I'm gonna come to the hated rival, Michigan. What do you think about this? Because I mean, they gave him all that money, but was it too soon?
It was a year too soon for me because you brought in Kenneth Walker, who was one of the best running backs, to me, the best running back in the nation last year. He covered up a lot of holes that Michigan State had. They had a very good defense last year and best running back. That makes up for a bad quarterback because Lombardi and Thorne both were bad. Like Rocky Lombardi got benched for Peyton Thorne essentially this year and transferred away. So I think they should have waited to see what he did without Walker and some of those defensive pieces. But he's a very good coach, and he deserves the money, but I think it was just a little too early.
Yeah, it was definitely a little too soon. Real quick, what's that crud on your head? I thought this was Kate, and it's not Kate. It is Will Kramer. So I would like to go back, and I would like to change my pick for the South Carolina-Missouri game. I'm picking for Missouri. You want to talk crap, Will? Let's go. All right. Hey, check us out Wednesday nights, Washington Football Weekly, baby. Yo, so yeah, I know, I agree. And look, so I'm coming to you, Colin. They gave the guy money, is not performing. They did it too soon, but what does that say about these college coaches? You're getting this big money. You've seen right there with Jimbo, with Saban, Kirby got paid. Like, what does this say? Like about it? 1 year you get paid? Like, what is this?
I mean, it's obviously in their contracts. I mean, they sign and they're creating these contracts with that verbiage in there. I mean, it's got to be in there. And I put the onus is on the school, man. I mean, if they want to, pay all these. I mean, I don't think. I mean, obviously there's no shortage of threat of running out of money with the boosters and all that kind of stuff, and then to get the amount of money they make per game and per season. But I mean, yeah, the onus is definitely on the colleges. I mean, if they want to shell out that kind of money, that's on them. I mean, it's not necessarily the coach's fault. I mean, they going. I mean,
True.
they. I mean, depending on what they do. I mean, if their mentality, if they go in there and sign that contract saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna go in there and get my money and then book on out," or if they legitimately have an attitude like, "I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna do my best I can," and try to create an atmosphere and a winning football team. That's another thing. I mean, another thing totally. But yeah, I mean, onus is definitely on the college. I mean, I don't fault the coaches for one bit.
No. Yeah. They're doing what they can to make money. If you want to pay them that's kind of on you. But then I just feel like it's funny how they just renege after that. Like, wait, you're not playing as great. Well, you got to help them out too.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to give them the tools to do well. They can't just throw them out there and say, "All right, well, do what you got to do." You got to give them the tools and the wherewithal to do what they can do to make the team better. But I mean, I just these coaches are smart. I mean, you just got to look at them. I mean, they've got smart lawyers. Let's put it that way. They may not be smart, but they got good lawyers. They put it in that contract where, hey, you get rid of me in such and such time, I'm getting paid. I mean, look at Coach O. I mean, Coach O, Coach O said, "Which door I go?"
He happily
which door I go? And what time you want me to leave?
He said, "Oh, I'll go." Right.
Yeah, I mean, I said the same thing.
Stuff packed right now. Let's go.
Hey, ain't no sweat off my nose, bro. I'm on.
Right.
I'm gonna give me a bunch of cheeseburgers.
Right. Yo, Alex, I'm gonna let you answer this. What was the reason? Was there a reason to pay Mel? There's a rumor of him going elsewhere pop up, or did they overreact?
His name was coming up for that LSU job last year, where obviously Brian Kelly got it, but his name was coming up. So I mean, and you look at these schools, obviously national championships and bowl games are what everyone bases it on, but then you go to how you do against your division rivals.
Yep.
They beat us 2 years in a row.
Yep. And
obviously they didn't beat Ohio State. They got smoked by Ohio State still, but rough. They beat us 2 years in a row. So that's a big feather in his cap because D'Antonio was getting his tail whooped for the last few years he was there. So for him to come in and take over and beat us twice, that's a reason right there. Maybe not for that much money, but the LSU job probably pushed it over the top.
No, absolutely. No, let's move on down the list. We got two more of these coaches. David Shaw from Stanford. We've seen kind of talent that he's brought out. Davis Mills is playing, not super talented, but NFL caliber. We've seen he's been slept on. Obviously, C-Mac just got traded. He's been touted as one of the best running backs in the country, winning college and in the pros, although the injury issues he has had. Shaw has been struggling this year, but he's actually played against a number of solid teams. I mean, look, they got the victory over Notre Dame, but then you lose to Oregon State, you lose to USC, Washington. I'm coming to you, Alex. What do you think? I mean, do you think people are getting a little bit too kind of anxious with this, or the talents?
Yeah. I definitely think they do. Or like they're getting a little too anxious on it because you look at it. He's been so good for so long there that I think you kind of deserve the benefit of a doubt when you have a year like this. And if you look at their schedule here, they played USC tough. The score 13-point spread, but they played them toe to toe for the majority of that game. They played Washington in a good game. They put 27 up on Oregon's defense. Like they played good teams and done fairly well. So, and they beat Notre Dame. Like there's some of these games that you kind of give yourself a little bit of credit for. And though you didn't get 3 and 4, obviously doesn't look too great, but calm down. It's a coach that's been solidified for so long.
Yeah. And I'm going to go to one more, and that's Mario Cristobal. And I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say people need to pump their brakes.
Yep.
He's had some tough losses. Absolutely. And Middle Tennessee State, you lose to them. And you're right. That's definitely an ugly loss to have on your record. But at the same time, He's his first year getting in the system. He went from the Pac-12 to the ACC. He's still getting his recruits. He's bringing those old Miami players back, having them on the sideline and kind of instilling that kind of the whole, culture and mentality into that team. It's going to take them at least a year to get back under their feet. Watch out for them the next year or two. Van Dyke, we talked about him thus far this year. He is definitely struggling, but I just feel like with this year, with how a lot of the talent from maybe the ACC might be going and some of these quarterbacks like Leary and Hartman and some of these guys might be leaving. Some of these teams might be falling down the next couple of years. You're going to have a Miami. You're going to have a Florida State, Tar Heel Nation, UNC. They're going to start making that rise. Yeah. Try to challenge a Clemson and stuff like that. So I think people need to pump their brakes on this as well. There have been some tough losses, and everybody goes to the one loss, and we completely understand.
But it's year one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He was saying, hey, Scott Thayer saying, go Mizzou. Okay. Shout out to you, man. Let's see. Hopefully, hey, Scott, let us know if you think they can get that W against South Carolina. Ranked South Carolina, by the way. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Does Tate Martell's love eligibility to go back into the U and play?
I don't think so. I think his eligibility is done, but he's not doing better than Van Dyke. So
he's not getting it done.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.